Public interest in the progress of construction and equipment of Canada's first subway reached a new high mark when the first two subway cars arrived from England and were placed on display at the 1953 Canadian National Exhibition, together with the new TTC emblem. These cars were displayed with a replica of a subway station, equipped with token vending machine, turnstiles, and automatic transfer dispenser and validator. $260,000 people visited this exhibit and inspected the cars during the 2 weeks of the Canadian National Exhibition. You really have to be up in the air to see Toronto's first rapid transit development. The position of the roof of the Wellesley station shows that convenient access to Yonge Street was retained when the economical off-street right-of-way was used north of Alexander Street. There's parking space for hundreds of cars on the subway route. The covered platform in the middle of Bloor Street, above the Bloor station of the subway, is one of the most noteworthy facilities for the safety and convenience of the passengers. Protected overhead and underfoot against disagreeable weather conditions, passengers transfer directly between surface streetcars and subway trains without even having to be bothered using a transfer ticket. And of course, there is no scrambling across that busy Bloor and Yonge intersection. North of Bloor Street, the open-cut track construction followed standard railroad methods, with wood ties and crushed stone ballast. More and more motorists are discovering how to avoid traffic jams at Davenport and Yonge by using the new Aylmer Bridge and Rosedale Valley Road, which came into being with subway construction. A large population in Rosedale will be conveniently served by the subway and the Rosedale buses, which will loop at the Rosedale station for direct interchange of transfer passengers protected against the weather and traffic hazards. Yes, sir, there goes a subway train. Because of gusty winds, the camera had to shoot at a very high speed, 64 pictures per second. That's what gives the slow motion effect of the train's movement. In a few minutes, we'll be down below, and you will see how these sleek red beauties glide the miles away. After a glimpse of Toronto's open-air water reservoir, there's a bird's-eye view of St. Clair subway station with the bus loop on Pleasant Boulevard. At St. Clair Station, the subway trains go underground. Passing through the station and under St. Clair Avenue and under stores, theaters, and apartments, the subway swings to the west side of Yonge Street at Heath Street. What came to be known as the Big Hole during early subway construction days is now Davisville Subway Center in full bloom, with car storage yards, shops, signal tower, boiler house, and power substation, as well as the Davisville passenger station. There are nearly 4 miles of storage track with 41 track switches in the Davisville car yard. These shops are for current maintenance. Major repairs will be done in the main shops at Hillcrest. All pits in Davisville shops are radiant heated. Nobody gets hurt when cars are coupled mechanically. After couplings come together, an operator presses a button and the electric and pneumatic connections are made and locked. All equipment and all maintenance practices are designed to ensure safety and efficiency. What could be a back-braking and toe-jamming job, the changing of subway car, trucks, and motors, is streamlined into some intelligent button pushing and light physical exercise. A drop table is used to change motors and trucks. Trucks to be sent to Hillcrest for overhaul are brought to surface on the drop table and are rolled along to a revolving floor hoist which lifts the trucks up and swings them around, ready to be rolled onto a float truck with an assist credited to an overhead crane. While the boys are finishing their exercises, here are a few facts about these shops. The floor area of the Davisville subway car shops totals 69,000 square feet. The general color scheme for the shops is light gray and aluminum. These are good light-reflecting colors. All obstructions and hazards are painted a bright yellow for accident prevention purposes. The east and west walls of the subway car shops are constructed of glass blocks and windows to obtain maximum natural daylight. When natural daylight is not available, the shops are illuminated by hundreds of fluorescent light fixtures installed over the tracks and the pits. Heat for the shops is piped through a concrete tunnel from the boiler house. Blowers suspended from the ceiling distribute the heat to all sections. The intricate electrical control devices of the subway cars will be checked and adjusted under the most favorable conditions. An abundance of natural light, supplemented by hundreds of fluorescent lights, will eliminate dark spots. The inspection tracks are elevated so that the mechanic in the pit has his work at the most convenient level. While work proceeds below, other men have access to the body of the car. Hundreds of miles of cable, plain and fancy, were used in setting up the automatic block signal system of the subway. When the Progress camera visited the signal tower at Davisville, the technicians were installing a control panel. By juggling a couple of dozen relays down below, the technicians showed how the control panel will appear in action. Knobs on the panel were turned to set up a route for movement of a train. This is shown on the panel by white lights, and simultaneously, green lights appear outside beside the track. When the train moves in to occupy a block of track, red lights appear on the panel, and red signal lights beside the tracks warn following trains. On street level, the subway stations are bright and modern. Where surface bus routes connect with the subway, all loading and unloading of passengers is done in off-street loops, at platforms that provide protection against unfavorable weather and disagreeable conditions underfoot. You know what it's like to be struggling with an umbrella while splashing across Yonge Street to transfer to a bus. No more of that for subway passengers. No umbrellas, no rubbers kicked off in the scramble, no, not even a transfer ticket to fumble. Just step off your subway train and into your big red limousine. It's a short hop from Davisville Subway Center to Eglinton Station, the northern subway terminus. The Eglinton streetcar yards and shops are being converted to house the trolley coaches and buses for north, west, and east. These platforms provide direct access to the underground station. Here comes the first dress rehearsal with a 6-car train. 350 feet of the finest transit rolling stock in the world. 24 motors of 68 horsepower, a total of 1,632 horsepower and no cross traffic to worry about. The signal system was not hooked up for this trial run, but the motorman was playing it strictly according to the book. A red light means stop. Moreover, this was a nice brake testing operation. Smooth stop, smooth start, and smooth running. Toronto, here's your dream come true. Hear the end of traffic congestion for the Yonge Route Transit passenger. everything is arranged for passenger comfort and convenience. Progress in finishing the subway stations came with a grand rush toward the end of 1953. Passenger rehearsals followed the car rehearsals. Up the escalator, out the exit turnstiles, and up to the street. Obviously, entering and leaving the fare collecting area is a simple procedure. The turnstiles keep the lines moving in an orderly fashion. If the passenger should need some tokens to operate the turnstile, the tokens are obtained from the automatic token vending machine. Just drop the money in, push the release, and there's the jackpot of tokens. These handy little tokens unlock the turnstiles, and the passengers are quickly admitted in single file. No pushing nor crowding. Of course, the delicately adjusted turnstile mechanism rejects bogus tokens. The turnstiles stubbornly refuse to turn unless a valid token be inserted. All passengers who tender transfers, or children's fares, or passes for the blind or amps will use the turnstile next to the ticket collector. Passengers who have paid their fares and who require transfers clear the turnstiles promptly and pick up dated transfer tickets from conveniently placed transfer dispensing machines. Mounted with the dispenser is a validating machine which validates the transfers by stamping on them the station and the time. Happy days and happy nights are here for those who want to dress up and not struggle with a steering wheel. With 3 double-width doors on each car and car floor and station platform on one level, passengers enter and leave the subway trains in safety and without delay. Toronto's subway trains can be of 2, 4, 6, or 8 cars. Each train is in charge of 2 men, the motorman in the front cab and the guard in the rear who operates the doors. Even before the subway was completed, it had started to pay off. Look only at Yonge Street itself and at the nearest cross streets. The subway has already stimulated developments which have added many millions of dollars in tax-paying properties and businesses to Toronto's assessment rolls. The sign over each subway entrance is this sign of transit progress, the sign of civic progress.